welcome to the show today, guys. I told you it is over. This is huge. President Trump is dropping the hammer on everybody, Democrats and the Republicans. He is now demanding, and he said it in a post, that the Senate stay and work for the rest of the year. No more recesses until Trump gets his agenda done. And he named off a few of the biggest things. And one of the biggest things was the tariff rebate checks, guys. The $600 per person checks, with the average family of 4 getting $2,400 in an annual check because of the tariff revenue. But not only that, the other part is confirming his 100+ judges, so that we're not run by Democratic judges throughout the United States, and a massive, massive planned change to Social Security, guys. And this is a huge win, because the Social Security Administration just came out this morning and said that in 8 years, Social Security will be insolvent. So Trump says that he has a plan, and it involves the tariff revenue. This is huge, guys. We have all the details to show you in a moment, but we have to make sure that we take care of our seniors. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. On top of that, we found some more news that George Soros and the Democrats are trying to backtrack and have judges go against Trump in a different way, using extremely, extremely old rules to try and fight Trump in his fight against the deep state. Guys, this is massive. Let me know your thoughts, because again, big show today with some big breaking news. Soros operatives were pushing their network of NGOs, remember them non-government organizations funded by our taxpayer dollars? Were funding their network of NGOs to share false narratives with U.S. media outlets, really, like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, and CNN. It was a full court press from all sides. Everyone was hearing similar stories from every corner of the NGO world, reinforcing the trustworthiness of the false story of the Russia collusion hoax. So again, you NGOs were these sources for all the fake news that we heard during Trump's first term. FBI Director Kash Patel says more damaging files tied to the Trump-Russia hoax are being released, personally signed off on by Hillary Clinton and the weaponized justice system of Obama. Guys, let me know, is this not some big breaking bombshell news? Durham concluded that the evidence proved that Obama and Clinton re-engineered a multi-year soft coup against candidate and then President Trump. This is insane, guys. And again, I'm telling you, the hammer is being dropped on everybody right now. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is now getting the Trump White House to speak with Chuck Schumer's team to make a deal about confirming Trump's nominees, after Trump demanded that no one leave for recess if they don't, to make sure that Trump gets his nominees. And apparently there is a funding freeze release that is being demanded by the Democrats in exchange. Trump wanted to make sure to spend the money through the big beautiful bill to secure the borders, protect America, the Golden Dome, all this energy stuff. And now the Democrats are trying to hold that hostage now in order to get Trump's judicial judge nominees confirmed through. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is insane. On top of that, Cambodia has now given their recommendation, another country, for Trump to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Guys, Trump's the deal maker, and people are loving it, and I'm ready to see him win a Nobel Peace Prize. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We got a big show for you today, guys, because nobody's playing around anymore. I told you that Texas was going to redistrict their districts in Texas to give 5 more seats to who? To the Republicans. Gavin Newsom just called a special election this November to approve a new congressional map, adding Democrat seats in California for 2026. So Texas is going for Republicans. California is going for Democrats. Guys, we've got an all-out just internal district war to get more congressional seats, because the Democrats don't have the illegal aliens they used to have. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Big breaking show today. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers, guys. Y'all are truly the best. We're so thankful from the bottom of our hearts that we get to support you and serve you every day with the top news. And if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We'd love to serve you every day with the top news. Want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. Thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We're truly grateful. Want to give some special love to Elaine Demeen, NJ Sawyer. Guys, show them some special love in the chat, as well as Robert Cash and Barbara Johnson. Remember, this money goes to a local charity on the 22nd of every single month, guys, and we are changing lives with your support. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is big. Trump is dropping the hammer big time. We are exposing everybody when it comes to the NGOs, George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Obama, and all the smoking guns are coming out, guys. This is huge. Let me know your thoughts. Check this out.
Good evening. Welcome back to Finnerty. Glad you're here. I'm Rob Finnerty, live from Washington, D.C. I'll tell you why in just a moment. Maybe you can guess. It turns out that Russia was so much bigger than we ever imagined. It turns out that Russia was orchestrated by Hillary Clinton and her campaign, and Hillary herself. It was coordinated with media think tanks and the legacy media in the intel community to push Clinton over the finish line in 2016. It didn't work, but if Trump did win, they had a whole backup plan. They were gonna pin this whole thing on Donald Trump, which is exactly what they ended up doing. Newly declassified documents released just today by the Senate Judiciary Committee expose a Hillary Clinton conspiracy, a Democrat conspiracy to fabricate the Russia collusion hoax and the carefully crafted lie that Russia helped Donald Trump win the 2016 election. It was always a lie. They did not. Why would they want Trump in the Oval Office and not Hillary? They know Hillary. They've known the Clintons for 35 years at that point. And to all of you who were mocked for years for supporting Donald Trump, you have been vindicated tonight. Here is Soros Foundation Senior Vice President Leonard Bernardo in an email writing to a Clinton advisor named Julia that, quote, it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. Now it is good for a post-convention bounce. Later, the FBI will put more oil on the fire. Hillary is hardly good-looking as far as credibility is concerned.
Guys, I told you, we bring the receipts, guys. All this is dropping right now. Soros operatives plotted Russia collusion narrative laundering. All this stuff was funneled through NGOs, non-government organizations that had our taxpayer dollars that was helping to have a soft coup against the person that was duly elected, President Trump. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because this is massive. Like, to have the actual evidence of Soros-tied NGO, tied to Clinton, tied to Obama. Let me know your thoughts. What should happen to these people? Because this is massive evidence.
In another email, a Soros Foundation vice president says, quote, Hillary approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering in U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing emails. Think about that. And now think about everything you've been told by the media for the last decade, the last 10 years. And now we have what looks like direct evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign and Hillary herself came up with the Russian collusion narrative from the start, and then Hillary rubber stamped it. Hillary approved of it in coordination with George Soros's Open Society, which really isn't that open, is it, George? And the reason? Well, Hillary Clinton was an absolutely horrible candidate and an even worse person. The email scandal was killing her campaign. Remember when she was asked about her private email server and those 30,000 plus emails that suddenly just disappeared?
That's all I can say. I'm not, you know, I have no idea. That's why we turned it over.
You were in charge of it. You were the official in charge. Did you wipe the server?
What, like with a cloth or something?
I don't know.
Well,
You know
no.
how it works digitally. Did you try to wipe the whole server?
I don't know how it works digitally at all. I do not have any.
You did not try.
Ed, I know you want to make a point, and I can just repeat what I have said.
So corrupt.
You know how it works? Hillary, you hit the delete button and the emails go away. By the way, most people won't delete 30,000 emails in a lifetime. Hillary did it in a couple of days. Hillary deleted that server, then joked about it in public, and when the media asked her questions, she mocked the media and got away with it. She said she wiped the server with a cloth. At the time, that was a big scandal, and Donald Trump was surging at that time in the polls, but nobody was talking about that. So the Clinton campaign needed to act, so they invented this lie.
Guys, and I'm telling you, like, we're showing you everything. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is massive. The Democratic brand is so destroyed right now. I just want to show you this because this brings everything into perspective. Guys, remember on our show, I want to show you different news sources. I want to show you how everything is tying together to give you a full picture of what is happening. And again, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, listen to this from CNN.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What are we talking about here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democratic race for president who's polling at 25% plus. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think? Is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on, is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Let's go, guys. Am I not bringing the receipts, guys? Everything right now is falling in on the Democratic Party. They're destroying themselves from the lies and the corruption that they have literally perpetuated out over the past 2 decades. Jogo, thank you so much for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. If you got a free membership, show Jogo some love in the chat. Thank you so much for growing our family. What you're about to see next, guys, is the smoking gun. This is everything that we're seeing, the evidence. The Democratic Party is in such shambles because they lied to the American people, and now they have officially been caught.
Russia hacking the election to elect Trump is the end of our democracy. Votes were definitely affected. Russia hacked the election to tilt it to Mr. Trump.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
No doubt. The Russians hacked the election.
Yes, Russia hacked the election.
President-elect Donald Trump still not sounding convinced that Russia hacked the election.
So after that, the legacy media, as you can see, they were all in. And that gave Hillary Clinton the cover that she needed to build her twisted little plot against Donald Trump.
This has come from the highest levels of the Russian government, clearly from Putin himself, in an effort, as 17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed, to influence our election. He'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged in cyber attacks. You are willing to spout the Putin line, sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do. And
man, I am ready, guys, to see her butt in jail, because all this we now know was a lie, and it was perpetuated out against every single left-wing media outlet. Let me know your thoughts in the chat, guys. Hashtag prison. Put it in, guys, if you believe it. I'm so sick and tired. I hate when people lie. I hate when people try to lie for their own nefarious reasons. And she 100% did it explicitly. We have the evidence. Her butt needs to be in jail. Man, this makes me mad hearing this, guys, because again, too, everybody fell for it. They believed her. They fell for it. And America hurt.
that you continue to get help from him because he has a very clear favorite in this race.
People at that time said Donald Trump was hiding something. He was just like, what are you talking about? This is all a lie. And why won't anyone believe me? Well, we believe you now, Mr. President. That lie became the official position of the Democratic Party after that, and by extension, the official narrative of the U.S. government under Barack Obama, who was president when all that was happening. Remember that? Barack was in the Oval Office. It was a lie meant to tip the scales in Hillary's favor. And the funniest thing, this all didn't work. Donald Trump became president, and then he became president again. But it was a lie that every Democrat then wanted to believe. And it was a lie that was so powerful that millions of Americans today still believe it if you ask them. But tonight, you can go to sleep knowing that you were not crazy back then.
Yes.
And that even though all this never made any sense to you, you can go to bed tonight knowing that it was in fact all a lie. It was never true. Let's get back to the...
And guys, again, too, we're bringing you the receipts. This was released this morning as well from Kash Patel. FBI Director Patel says more damaging files tied to the Trump-Russia hoax are being released, personally signed off on by Hillary Clinton and weaponized by Obama's FBI. This is what they're saying. More files, more evidence. This is what we voted for. Transparency, guys. Put their butts in jail. Lay Lewis, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all, I said, Dems, put your hands behind your backs. Dang. Y'all show Lay some love in the chat, as well as Joe Go. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said the people have finally opened their eyes to see how much the Dems have continued to lie to the people, and we are just plain sick of them. MAGA all the way, baby. I love it. Show Joe Go Lay some love in the chat.
Emails released today. Another Soros vice president said, in yet another email, this is a quote, in the absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will supply the media, which is remarkable because that's 2016 technology, meaning private companies were involved in all of this as well. And then CrowdStrike was somehow responsible for handing over evidence to the FBI. Remember this?
Were you given access to do the forensics on those servers?
We were not. We were a highly respected private company, eventually got access and shared with us what they saw there.
But is that typically the way the FBI would prefer to do the forensics, or would your forensics unit rather feel the servers and do the forensics themselves?
We'd always prefer to have access hands-on ourselves, if that's possible.
Do you know why you were denied access to those servers?
I don't know for sure.
Okay, so a lot going on right there, but obviously the FBI prefers to handle evidence directly. But in this case, isn't that interesting? Director Comey let a third party handle it, a third party called CrowdStrike, because the FBI was in on it at that time. In another exchange, the Soros vice president said, quote, I suggest writing something about a task from someone, I don't know, some dark forces like the FBI, for instance, or better yet, Clinton sympathizers in the intel community, Pentagon, Deep State, about American websites acting in accordance with Putin to undermine good in the elections in the interest of Donald Trump. That right there is proof that the Deep State works. Do you have any more questions? Case closed. They were all in on it. But to the left, and this is really important, to the left, the Deep State doesn't exist because the Deep State are them. Their colleagues, their friends, business partners, anyone who hates Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., that's the Deep State.
And guys, I want to show you this because again, too, there's so much people involved with this. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, the FBI killed foreign influence investigation because it involved Hillary Clinton. When the FBI discovered in 2014 that a foreign government planned to funnel money into Clinton's campaign, the Bureau stalled for months before seeking a FISA warrant because agents were more careful due to the Clintons' name being involved in admission of political bias at the core of the federal law enforcement. Guys, all this stuff has just been unclassified. Now Trump wants more than ever. Trump wants more than ever to get his judicial nominees in there so that he can start going after and holding all the cases to make sure that we hold these people accountable. Like, all this is adding up. And even what I'm about to show you next, all this stuff over the lies that we saw, how the intelligence community was used against, and that's what, just like what Hillary Clinton just said. Well, the intelligence community, guess what? They were corrupt from the beginning, and all this is being exposed now. Listen to this.
The Hunter Biden laptop. In October of 2016, shortly before the election, the New York Post wrote a story that was widely covered talking about Mr. Hunter Biden's influence peddling scheme based on his laptop. A couple of weeks later, Secretary of State, soon to be Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, organized a group of 51 so-called intelligence experts. Had some real rock stars on the list. Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, and they said, oh, no, the story in the New York Post is not true. It's based on Russian disinformation. You remember that?
I do, Senator, as the lead investigator for Russiagate for the House Intel Committee.
Yeah. The FBI had the laptop for 10 months, hadn't they?
They did, Senator.
So the FBI knew right before the election that it wasn't Russian disinformation, didn't they?
And that was confirmed by the Inspector General's report.
Yeah. Who at the FBI refused to let the FBI tell the American people the truth?
I don't have that name in front of me, sir.
Well, would you look?
I will, sir.
I'd like to know. I'd like a name, not a division. I'd like the name. Person with a brain and a beating heart.
Guys, again, this is the receipts that things have been manipulated so badly to lie to the American people. And now it's time to put the right people in place. George Masalis, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, more bad news for the lying and cheating Democrats. It's time for term limits. 100%. Y'all show George some love in the chat. Guys, listen to this, because again, too, we're bringing the people that are actually in Congress, that are actually doing something about it, to see the change. Check this out.
Senator Tuberville joins us. I asked Senator Tuberville, we want him over here because he's got an amazing new bill about Chinese nationals studying here in the United States of America. But first, Senator Tuberville, because I know this is, you come from a career of working 18 and 20-hour days, 7 days a week, to Senate. Please help me out here. Are you guys going to stick around and get these confirmations done for President Trump? Or if you do leave for the August recess, is Thune going to actually have a recess so President Trump can then do recess appointments? So either way, we grind through this thing by Labor Day, one way or the other. Is the solution? Or are you guys just going to punch out, go on your Codels, and we'll see you back here after Labor Day?
Well, Steve, thanks for having me on. First of all, I apologize. I'm in the Russell building, and my office is on the 4th floor overlooking Union Station, and we've got thousands of protesters here all the time, and they're running sirens today, and it just drives you nuts. I don't know why we put up with this crap, but for some reason, the city of Washington, D.C. puts up with it, but they tried to throw us all off. But it's just another day in the swamp. But yes, we need to stay, Steve. This is crazy. People want to go home just because we've set this date for the year on our calendar. They have slow played President Trump. He doesn't have his coaching staff. I call it the coaching staff. You can't get anything done at the lower level. And right now we're getting hacked by a lot of these lower level people in some of these agencies that are left over from the Biden administration. For instance, I just met with a drug company, and they make American drugs, and we're getting hammered by India because they make this same drug, they send it to America, and some group in California packages the drug, and they sell it as American made, and it's not near as good as what we make here in this country. But because of the lower level people that we can't get in, the Biden administration group that is still in command, they won't let us make any progress. So that's the reason we need to stay. We need to do what's right. And somebody needs to grow a set so we can get this done. Who cares about going home right now? Let's save our country. And I love what you said. If we don't do it now, it'll never be saved.
Guys, I'm telling you, and look, I bring the receipts, guys. Trump posted this morning, said the Senate must stay in session taking no recess until the entire executive calendar is clear. We have to save our country from the lunatic left. Republicans, for the health and safety of the USA, do your job and confirm all nominees. They should not be forced to wait. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments because this is what we need. There is again, there's so much rhinos and there's so much establishment people in the system that, we already made the schedule. It doesn't matter. You do the dang job that needs to get done. B1 Sly one, I can't explain what it means, what you put, but this is what the president is now demanding. And I'm already hearing through a lot of other channels that Trump is saying, if you do not get my executive calendar clear, then you will face me in the primaries. Guys, Trump is making the biggest threats because he's tired of people not doing their dang job. Let me know your thoughts and comments, guys, because I'm telling you, they need to do that. This is such a once in a lifetime opportunity right now. Let me know your thoughts, but I'm sick and tired of people okay, let's not work. Let's just go and hang out. No, do your job.
Do you guys have, are there team meetings? I know when you coach, you were a guy that was known for, including your team and your coaches and building a team environment. Are you guys talking about this, or just every day we're going to stay a couple more days and 10? Is there a strategy and a plan, or is this just kind of evolve every day, sir?
Well, we've had plans all week long. We've talked about different scenarios of possibly dropping the cloture vote, making it one vote, cutting back on time. For the average person out, here's what happens. Anytime we vote on a nominee, it's 2 votes. It's a cloture vote. Then you have a debate time of 2 hours. Then you have a vote on that to close it down and on the nominee. Well, normally, the other side, for us instance, we'd get back time, we'd make it 10 minutes or whatever. And so you'd get a lot more nominees through. Well, this group won't allow you to do that. What happened is last spring, Chuck Schumer voted for the CR, and his side just went ballistic. They said, you're siding with the Republicans, you're going to ruin our country, and we're going to run you out of office. AOC pops up. I'm thinking about running for Chuck Schumer's spot. And now he's playing hardball. He is scared to death he's going to lose to AOC, which he would, by the way, if she runs, because he's nothing but a no good, I don't know what you call him, somebody from New York that's taking as much money as he possibly can. He's got enough money. He needs to move on down the road. But it's nothing for America. It's nothing for the American taxpayer. It's all about running our country in the ground and owned by the oligarch of the Democratic Party.
So have you guys talked about, have you addressed internally just actually going on recess and taking off and giving, because Mike Lee tells me the Constitution supports it. In fact, it's in the Constitution, and every president's had it. Just taking off and having President Trump have a gap here that he could do some recess appointments, and then you guys still work with these people because, it only goes for a year or so to get them permanently in. Has that been addressed at all, or is that not even on the table yet?
Well, it's probably gotten less talk than anything, but we have talked about it, and some groups bring it up. Oh, they don't get paid if you do this. It only lasts for a year and a half. First of all, I don't care how long it lasts. Let's get them in and worry about that afterwards. Mike Lee even brought it up. Yes, they do get paid. They do make money, and so that's not a problem. But again, I wish we would address the situation at hand. Schumer should step up and say, okay, we're going to let you voice vote 60, 70, 80. But we have 0 voice votes for nominees when at this time during Biden administration, he had 50 that we allowed them to voice vote. Again, they're not playing ball with us. They hate President Trump. They hate the country the way it is. They're afraid that we're going to get something done in these 4 years. That's their worst scenario. Hopefully we continue to do that. But we got to have fighters. Steve, we don't have fighters up here, and people say enough's enough. Y'all's ass is staying here as long as we're staying here, and we're going to vote every 2 hours until you come to your senses, and we work night and day. I mean, that's easy to do. We all got offices in the Capitol where we can sleep on the couch, get up and go vote.
Guys, that is what I'm talking about. Look at this new update. Leader John Thune is now getting the Trump White House to speak with Chuck Schumer's team to make a deal about confirming Trump's nominees per punch bowl. Apparently, a funding freeze may be demanded by Dems in exchange. What are they talking about? They're talking about the funding from the big beautiful bill that was just passed. They want to freeze the new money that was allocated so that, you know, secure border, the Golden Dome, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, the majority of the no tax on Social Security, like all this stuff. If there's anything that is more evident, guys, is that we are seeing they're trying to hurt the American people. Right here, it's evident. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Says 7 months has passed, no arrest, nobody in jail very soon. It's going to be 1 year and Bondi is missing in action. 100%. Great point. Lily Ignacio, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, we the American people are paying the rhinos their salaries. They need to work. No recess until the job is done. I agree. Show Lily and Andy some love in the chat, guys, because I'm telling you, they're exposing themselves. People like Tommy Tuberville, hey, he wants to work, and he's shown everybody where his heart truly is to serve we the people and get the job done.
Well, I hope that kicks in right away. Senator, I want to talk about this new law that you're talking about, putting forward about students and Chinese names.
And guys, I do want to say something real quick. The more and more that we expose all this stuff that's coming out, what you're about to hear next, it's such an insane lie that the media ran with it, and now we're exposing it. But the Biden administration was such a lie. It's so bad. Listen to this.
Complained about, and that is the Bureau of Labor Statistics and whether we get accurate numbers. Now, everybody's talking about the number here. It's 250,000 jobs. They're like on the downside. It turns out we didn't get, and now it's a restatement. What in the hell's going on there? And have we put in our own person into BLS? Is a MAGA Republican that President Trump knows and trusts? Are they running the Bureau of Labor Statistics yet, sir?
No, unfortunately, Steve, we still haven't gotten there. And I think that's part of the reason why we continue to have all of these different data problems. You know, the guy we had previously, Bill Beach, is actually a great guy, brilliant statistician, and he recognized some of the problems that we had in the data. He was taking steps to fix that. But unfortunately, he was removed by the Biden administration. He's not there anymore. And he's been replaced by someone who, frankly, I think is incompetent. And that shows with the fact that the problems in the statistics that first became evident all the way back in the spring of 2022, those problems are still there. And if we can go to the first chart here, I think really helps illustrate that, where essentially what you can see is the fact that the disparity between the number of people who are saying they have a job, who are employed, that's in brown there, versus the line in gray is the number of non-farm payrolls we have. As you can see, before the pandemic, they tracked very, very well together. But since then, they've really started to spread apart. And that problem has never actually been fixed. In other words, we're not correctly estimating either the number of people with jobs or the number of actual jobs in the country, or both. And if we go to the next chart here, we can get a better sense of some of the problem. What continuously keeps happening is that we get an initial estimate for the number of jobs, and then that figure has to get revised down, and pretty dramatically. Now, this is just over the last year. The reason I chose a year, though, is because over the course of a year, you should have some months revised up, some months revised down, but all in all, it should average out to zero. That's not what's happening anymore. There's clearly a negative bias in the revisions, which means there's a positive bias in the initial numbers. In other words, we get an overly optimistic report, and then we later find out that it wasn't that great. And so now we see that for the last several months, most of the jobs that we thought we were adding didn't actually exist. Again, this is not a problem unique to the Trump administration or unique to 2025. It happened in 22, in 23, and in 24. In fact, earlier this week, the BLS announced with their latest round of quarterly data that 2024 is going to see another major downward revision revision in coming reports. We're just not going to get that report, unfortunately, until the start of next year. But it is coming. We're going to see hundreds of thousands of jobs that we thought we had in 2024. It turns out never even existed.
Guys, and again, it was under the Biden administration. I got to show you this because this is so powerful. Since Trump has taken office, look what has happened this year. The blue line is the native-born workers. The green line is the foreign-born workers. Oh my goodness, what happened? Well, hey, people that are actually citizens, people that are actually Americans started getting more jobs. What happened to the people that were foreign-born, illegals, non-citizens? They started losing jobs because they started getting deported. This just shows you, again, the track. When you were under the Democrats, their priority was America last. Let's bring every illegal in. Let's help out every other country. Let's stick it to the actual American citizens that pay the dang taxes. Taxpayers. Why? Because, again, you don't get a choice to pay taxes or not. They take it out of your check every week, so they don't care about your vote. They care about the ones that they can bring in and hand some more money to. Mama Sage, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Guys, we are dropping the facts and the receipts today. This is massive. Since Trump took office, a whopping 1.5 million jobs from foreign-born workers has been lost. And an increase of what? 1.8 million native-born workers. Guys, this is winning. This is America first right here. And what I love is that, again, we're bringing out the facts. Everybody's starting to see the Democrats. And I just can't, it's going to blow my mind how, doesn't matter. People are going to believe the Democrats no matter what. How they're going to spin this in the midterms and in the next presidential election that, oh yeah, under the Democrats, y'all lied about everything. Y'all were corrupt about everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And these data problems, go a lot deeper, frankly, in the report. So if we flip to the next chart, another thing that we can see is how the disparity between full-time and part-time work isn't showing up in some of the other numbers. So, for example, in this last report, the number of full-time jobs actually declined and the number of part-time jobs went up. So all of the net job growth, it looks like, was part-time. But as we flip to the next chart, we start to see more disparities here. This is multiple job holders. Usually what happens is we lose full-time jobs and we add all these part-time jobs. It's because people are taking on multiple part-time jobs to make ends meet. That's the opposite of what we're seeing here. This is pointing to a problem in the data. And then finally, the next chart shows us hours. And what's happening here, again, if all of these people are losing their full-time jobs and only getting part-time work to replace them, the average weekly hours should be going down because you're working fewer hours at a part-time job than you were at your full-time job. But that's not what happened last month. In July, the number actually ticked up. So all of this to say, Steve, there is a lot of conflicting evidence in this July jobs report, and so we have to take it with a grain of salt. I'm not trying to excuse away the fact that it wasn't a great headline number, or the fact that we had big downward revisions, but it speaks to all of the problems in the data. Now, there was some good news in the report, too, that we should definitely highlight. We can see that in the next chart, where the annual change in jobs among native-born Americans has exploded. It is up 2 million from July of 24 to July of 25. Meanwhile, employment among foreign-born workers is actually down. It's down over 200,000. Now, look, it's not that I'm rooting for anybody to be losing their jobs, but what I'm pointing out in this chart is simply the fact that all of the net job growth over the last 12 months has gone to native-born Americans. That is a stark change to what we saw under the Biden administration, where all of the net job growth from pre-pandemic until Biden left office, all of that net job growth went to foreign-born workers, and native-born Americans actually lost employment. We can see that.
Did you hear that, guys? Free from the dang pandemic, COVID-19, all that stuff. All the new jobs went to who? Illegals, non-native-born workers, foreign-born workers. What does that tell you? It's because Biden let the whole dang world come in through our dang southern border. And now And native-born workers lost jobs, but now it's completely flipped. Why? Because there's a freaking president that said we're going to put America first. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. This is massive. I love it. Huge wins for America. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, we are winning.
In the next chart, where you're going to see trend lines for both of these categories. So in blue there, you can see foreign-born workers, and in orange, you can see native-born Americans. It's clear that during the Biden years, the level of foreign-born employment returned to its pre-pandemic trend, the dotted line, and stayed there. However, for native-born Americans, employment never actually returned to that trend.
Wow.
But what we saw in the last couple months of jobs reports, in the June report and in the July report that we got today, these were the best June and the best July ever for native-born employment. Now, the reason I'm saying best June, best July, these are not seasonally adjusted data sets, which is just a fancy way of saying you can't compare month-over-month changes. In other words, June to July is not a fair comparison. January to July is not a fair comparison because there are things that typically happen with seasonality here. For example, every July, you see a surge in native-born American employment because you have a lot of high school and college kids who are home from school and they're out getting part-time jobs, right? And then in August and September, that number plummets as those people go back to school. So you want to look at one July to the next, and then that doesn't include all of that seasonality in between. And sure enough, again, this is the best June and the best July ever for native-born Americans. That's great news.
Guys, and again, even more great news, guys. Again, this show is a show of great news. Look at this. Trueflation's real-time index shows inflation plunging to 1.67% after flirting with 2.4% just weeks ago. So this is the chart where it's at. We are lowering inflation. Guys, this is beautiful. I love this. And what I love too most about this is that we're continuing to show that Trump's policies are working, yet Jerome Powell doesn't want to do what needs to be done in actually lowering interest rates so that people can refinance it, people can buy cars, and people can buy more homes. This is what we need, guys. This is the facts. We show you everything. And again, big news, guys, because again, more fraud has been caught in the Social Security Administration. Trump is looking to make a big, massive change so that it can be solvent. Listen to this.
Congressional Budget Office and the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget both warning that Social Security is less than 8 years away from insolvency based on projections from the program's own trustees. The CRFB writing this: it is time to start telling the truth when it comes to Social Security and Medicare. We are running out of time to phase in changes gradually and avoid harsh cuts, sharp tax increases, or unacceptable borrowing. They also warn a retired dual-earning couple could see cuts in their Social Security benefits of upwards of $18,000 a year beginning in 2033. Joining me right now is the U.S. Social Security Administration Commissioner, Frank Bisignano. Frank, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to be here, Maria.
And I know you've been doing a lot of work putting technology to the test in the Social Security Administration. It is night and day since you took the role. But first, give us your reaction to these expectations that Social Security goes insolvent within 10 years.
As you know, I'm one of the 4 trustees with the Treasury Secretary, the HHS Secretary, and the Labor Secretary. And we made a commitment at the end of the trustee meeting, which actually published the information, that we would have a deep commitment to deliver on the president's promise, to protect and preserve. And one of the ways we've been doing it is to begin to change the paradigm around outpayments. In my second week on the job, the Inspector General sent a letter talking about $18 billion in improper payments. We've already addressed half of that. It's about
$18 billion, guys, in improper payments. We already told you, we've already shown you facts, guys, that 4 million under the Biden administration, they gave away 4 million Social Security numbers, guys. Social Security number, if you have one, you can get benefits. You can get Medicare, Medicaid, you can get housing assistance, SNAP, food, all this stuff. This is insane.
Delivering a great control environment. Ultimately, the White House, Congress, and the trustees will have a solution. But right now, it's about how to do the job right. Eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. Increase the level of service to the American population. We have 300 active cardholders, 300 million active cardholders, and we have to serve them as best as possible. You know, we had a website that was down for 29 hours a week scheduled. It's down 0 time now. So Americans can transact every day on the web through Social Security. We will eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. We will do a great job in delivering a better experience for the American population. And the control agenda and the client agenda will also allow us a platform to have Social Security, which is coming up on its 90th anniversary on August 14th. Be here as the president has committed and promised for the next 90 years.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great point, Frank, but I don't even understand. Why would the website be down by design?
You know, it's an interesting thing. We have some great engineers in the org that are new. They've come on, they're on SSA, they're talented, they've came from other industries. And in the first few weeks, they sent me a snapshot of the service hours of the web. And we all know that the service hours of the web are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, in the time periods that was down, in just a short period of time, less than 2 weeks, we've done over 300,000 transactions. Those are 300,000 Americans who would not have been served.
Wow.
That's incredible. And you're doing so because you're deploying new technology to make this a digital-first agency. I want to hear more about that. You've got new data that shows technology enhancements, improving customer service, including handling the traffic at quicker speeds, as you just mentioned, nearly doubling the amount of customers year-to-date and completing more than 3.1 million payments to beneficiaries of the Social Security Fairness Act 5 months ahead of schedule. The payments totaled $17 billion, Frank. I want to get your take on what else we should expect and how significant this new technology is in terms of transforming this historic agency.
Guys, and again, all this that is happening right now is because of the DOGE audits. It's because of Elon Musk's team working with the Social Security Administration, where one of the persons from the DOGE team actually works full-time in the SSA now. To do what? Get out the fraud, the waste, the abuse. And now all this new technology is catching it. Guys, this is so mind-blowing. Because again, too, the Democrats didn't want them to audit the Social Security Administration. They didn't want to bring in the new technology. Why? Because there was so much fraud, waste, and abuse that you're about to hear about. And what I love is that continuously making things more efficient is helping to give back to our seniors.
This has been less than 90 days worth of work. I think the agency has a new sense of urgency. When I talk about those control items at 3 o'clock today, like every Friday, we'll go through all the control agenda items and have a pristine control environment. We meet quite regularly on the service agenda. I have been in a field office every week. I've been in a regional office every week. People are understanding we're here to serve the American public. I thought one of the great things that the agency did was figure out technically how to get out the payments for the Fairness Act 5 months early. And then we've taken wait times from the last administration on the phones, which averaged 30 minutes, to last week 5 minutes. And that means we're handling more volume, serving more Americans in a manner. It's better for our employees, too. An employee who answers a phone call that took maybe 2 hours doesn't get the same treatment from the caller as one who answers it in 5 minutes. So this is about deploying technology, taking a digital-first, client-first mindset. We have a lot of work to do to change our way we interact on the web, but we have an objective. We have a MySSA account, which limits fraud, allows access through the web. We do 1.2 million transactions right now over the web a day, and we will continue to enhance my SSA. If we have 50 million active users, we have an objective to have 100 million by the end of the year. More secure, better service, and the way Americans are used to transacting.
Guys, and I just want to remind you and show you this stuff because to me, receipts matter, guys. This was from the Congressional Research Service back in 2023. So whenever people say, oh, or the Democrats say that no non-citizen or no illegal was getting Social Security, bull. Guys, and if you appreciate this, guys, because we try our best to bring you full context over what's happening and why that Trump and all of them, they're working to give more, to give an increase to those on Social Security. It's because of this. Non-citizens receiving benefits through Social Security Administration. This was back in 2023. 365,000 plus non-citizens were receiving an average of $503.75 per month, guys. So we're going to do the quick math because, again, too, this stuff adds up. 365,000. Man, this is so much. Times the $503 per month equates to $183,500,000 a month. Times that by 12. So each year, $2 billion, $2.2 billion was being given to non-citizens. $2.2 billion. I promise you that there were some Americans that could have used that money that were actually citizens. Guys, this stuff we bring to you matters, and that's why I hope if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, we want to bring you all the receipts.
Well, I mean, look, nobody knows how to use technology to update an institution better than you, given your background, which I've watched over the years. But Frank, I want to get your take on that fraud that you just referred to, because ever since the inception of DOGE, there's been a lot more discussion about the alleged fraud in government programs coming to light, including the Social Security claims. Former DOGE head Elon Musk said that people 150 years old were receiving benefits, with critics claiming that he read the data wrong, Frank. So I know that there are, there's evidence that, in fact, some of those people who were 150 years old, 200 years old, were on the rolls. But do we know for sure if they were actually getting those benefits?
Well, what I'd like to say is the Social Security card is a way to traffic in many areas.
Yes.
And when you have live Social Security numbers, it doesn't have to be fraud only in Social Security payments. It can traverse the whole environment. It can cause identity theft. So locking those down, which was a great job done, to lock them down, to not have people on the rolls who are not active and live, has definitely enhanced the control environment. And, to the extent that we have limited that, will show up in the numbers to protect and preserve as the president has committed, and I'm honored to serve to be able to do that. So I think when we look at this, what we'll find out is that all the control enhancements we're doing is going to eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. And more importantly, our error rate, which is almost 1%, will go 5 digits to the right, which will be returning money to the taxpayers
yes.
ultimately.
All right, Frank, we'll be
guys,
watching.
do y'all hear that? So powerful. We just got this breaking news, guys, just came out 5 minutes ago. President Trump, he has ordered 2 submarines, high-powered nuclear submarines, to be positioned in appropriate regions based upon the inflammatory statements coming from former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of Russia Federation. He said, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Trump, guys, don't play around. And especially with Russia getting crazy, remember, who does Russia align with? Russia and China. The United States aligns with NATO. Like, this is some big stuff, guys, especially whenever Trump is literally moving to nuclear submarines, guys. This is big, big stuff. I want to show you this too as well, guys, because I'm telling you, the success that we're getting, it's the Democrats' worst nightmare. Right now, nobody trusts them. The lowest ratings on record from what you're about to see.
All right, there you have it. President Trump, he has a right to boast on the policy, which appears to be working very well. Let's talk to Alabama Senator, the great Tommy Tuberville. Mr. Tuberville, as always, sir, welcome. Bunch of things to talk about, but really the, Trump tariff derangement syndrome has not played out well for Mr. Trump's critics. Stocks are doing well, the economy's doing well, the inflation rate is down. And I know the deadline is tonight and tomorrow's August 1st. Are you worried? I mean, they've made deals or extensions with most of the big companies, and they're raking in a lot of money. Doesn't seem like it's bad to me. What's your take?
The legacy media, Larry, and the Democrats are running for cover. The people manufacturing, people in Canada and Mexico are beating my door down here in Washington, D.C., wanting to move manufacturing to Alabama and to America. They don't know what to say, Larry. The Democrats they're lost for words. This is their worst nightmare. President Trump, we all knew he'd be successful if you just let him loose, and they did, and he knows what he's doing. He's going to win. He's going to win a lot more. He's not finished yet, but I like what Howard Lutnick says. This will help pay our debt down. I've been saying that all along. This is the only way we can pay our debt down is through tariffs.
How about if you
again, wasteful spending, because this just came out 3 minutes ago, guys, from the DOGE subcommittee. Man, guys, I tell you, I got you. We're on it. We're bringing the breaking news as it's happening, guys. I love this. DOGE July savings update. Over $18 billion in wasteful contracts cut. 1.4 million contracts, HHS contracts for professional services in Rwanda. This is today, guys. This just got released. July savings update, over $18 billion in wasteful contracts cut. This is from the DOGE House subcommittee, guys. Again, just happened moments ago, guys. This is huge. Look at this. $265,000 for a DOT contract for planning and environment workshop and roundtable discussion. What the heck does that mean? $420,000 for a Treasury contract for mentoring, evaluation, and learning specialists in Haiti. Guys, the crap is so unreal, but $18 billion saved for the American people thanks to the DOGE subcommittee.
Tax rates grow the economy. Then you could bring the debt as a share of GDP down.
Well, tell you, buddy, Jerome Powell. I mean, we've all told him up here. We talk to him quite often, and I don't know. He's just a political hack. I tell you, it just shows you he's a day late and a dollar short, Larry. He was late raising rates back in 2021, and now he's late lowering rates. But he lowered rates right before Kamala Harris' election, trying to get her elected. It's just a shame. That's the deep state up here. That's the whole city of Washington, D.C., and President Trump's given them a good lesson in economics.
Well, Senator, have you been to his Taj Mahal? I mean, have you actually seen it? You probably thought that Taj was in India, but it's actually on C Street, not far from where you are. You've been down there, sir?
I have not been down there, Larry, but can you believe that they did this, spend $3 billion on this nonsense when we've got all these empty buildings in the city here? I mean, you don't need something new to make 1 or 2 decisions a year. It makes no sense to me, but President Trump's on to him. Jerome Powell will pay the price for this. I don't know whether he'll fire him, but he's going to make it awful hard on him for the next 6-7 months.
So Senator Cruz was on, talked to me about this. You know, the Fed is paying $168 billion, $168 billion a year to banks on their reserves, 4.5%, okay? It's a nice, tidy sum, risk-free. But half of that, nearly half of that money, goes to foreign banks, which strikes me as a big, I don't know if it's a waste of money. It's just something we shouldn't be doing, is giving away free money to foreign banks. And furthermore, the Fed is losing $100 million a year because of their income statement, asset and liability mismatch. Now,
guys, did y'all know this? How much billions of dollars we're giving away in free money to all these other foreign banks? Guys, if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what I'm telling you, we try to do every single day on this channel, is bring you the facts. Let you know what's really going on, because this affects your wallet. And the number one thing that's the most American thing is you bust your butt, you work hard for your money, and you get to keep your money. And that's what we're trying to help push.
has to be some big changes at the Fed. Whoever runs the Fed next, okay, somebody new is going to run the Fed next couple months. Powell's term's coming to an end. All these things, Cruz, others, other senators, there's got to be reforms of the Federal Reserve. We can't let this continue.
Yeah, it's no different than the rest of the city up here, Larry. It has to have reforms. It has to be put in its place. Again, it's like everything else that's gone on since I've been here for the last 5 years. Anything that the Democrats passed up here in some kind of bill, whether it was Inflation Reduction Act, whether it was something to do with the Infrastructure Act, half the money goes overseas. It doesn't stay in our country. It goes out. And being a non-politician, it has taken me a long time to understand it now. All you got to look at it is just theft, and that's what we found out with USAID. But you're exactly right. I listened to Ted Cruz give a speech the other day and talking about that money going out of the country and the banks paying off banks. It's absolutely nonsense.
So I don't know if you listen to Howard Lutnick, who's done an awfully good job. So we've got this government-to-government money coming in. It's very interesting. It's a new wrinkle, right? South Korea is pledging, what, $350 billion. Japan, maybe $550 billion. European Union, maybe $600 billion, and so forth and so on. Do we know what the channel is? Do we know the mechanism that the money comes in? The president seems to want to control the distribution of the revenues. The U.S. government will take 90% of the profits. Has anybody talked through that? Has there been any legislation? Has there been any, putting heads together and figuring out the best way to do it? It's a very clever idea. I think it's a very useful idea, but I'm not sure anybody, maybe including myself, understands the details of how it might work.
Yeah, I hope it does not go through us over in Congress, because it'll get lost in the shuffle. I hope they turn it over to Scott Bessent, Kevin Hassett, Lutnick, all the people that have got us in this position. They know where to put the money. And as we heard earlier from Howard Lutnick, it's about energy. Larry, we're so far behind in energy in this country. We think we could beat China right now. They can build a bridge in 3 months. It takes us 3 years because of energy and AI. That cannot continue to happen. And a lot of that money that you're talking about is going to have to go into energy, and it's going to have to go into AI.
So what about, think of the other side, though. If Europe makes good and they buy, what was the number, 700 billion or 750 billion, I presume that's going to be liquid natural gas and natural gas. All right, so our producers will produce. We're the best in the world. They have incentives for deregulation, depreciation, and so forth. But meanwhile, how about get Europe weaning off of Russian energy, which would be a tremendous thing, given the Ukraine war and lots of other things. Brings us closer to Europe. We make some money on the deal. I mean, I think it's a terrific idea.
100%. After Biden blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, they were weaned off of energy from Russia. But if we don't watch it, that will pick back up, because we know where Germany stands. We know where a lot of these European countries stand. They stand more with Russia than they do with us. But they need to understand that we can help them longer and better, and be able to ship that over in a proper manner, and being able to refine it. Obviously, we'd have to turn it into liquid gas, ship it, and then turn it into regular gas over there. But they need our energy, and we're going to be able to produce it, because we're going to open up the spigots, as President Trump says.
We can do it.
And again, too, like all this stuff that's coming out, the biggest thing, again, Trump's trying to move fast. One of the biggest things that a lot of people don't talk about that's really holding us back is the interest rates. And I just want to show you right here, Trueflation's real-time index shows that inflation is plunging to 1.67%. Interest rates, they need to lower so you can get more loans, so you can do more drill, baby, drill. Private businesses getting things done. That's what they're talking about right now. And this right here, this chart shows you at the very end that true inflation is down to 1.67%. So when they talk about like what's holding people back, it's the unelected bureaucrats, which again, Jerome Powell was elected, was put in by Trump, but it's these bureaucrats within Congress, within the federal government that are slowing down the growth of America.
Not only can we get it to them, refrigerate it, we can build the terminals. I mean, we can do the whole thing for them. All they have to do is sit back, pay some money up, and bask in energy independence. I mean, I've been trying to push this in the first term. This thing may come to fruition, change the whole geopolitics of the world, change everything. Europe coming back to the United States, getting away from Russia and all that stuff. We can do everything, our companies, you know that. We have the know-how and can do it faster and cheaper.
We need to turn them back into our allies again. Of course, they're losing their way, Larry, with immigration. As President Trump told them, y'all are getting ready to lose your countries if you don't watch it, because they try to do the same thing to us. President Trump is going to be the savior, probably, of the entire Europe, from energy all the way to immigration, Larry.
Yes, sir. I like that. Agree with that. Senator.
Guys, and again, too, Trump is doubling down again today on Jerome Powell over what the heck are you doing, brother? Why aren't you lowering interest rates? Why aren't you making sure that Americans, remember, Americans can refinance their houses, can get lower interest rates on their cars, things like that? And what makes me upset, guys, is that, again, too, this directly affects you and I. It doesn't have to be this way.
Right now, there's no inflation. Everybody thought there would be. All we have is billions of dollars of cash pouring into our country from other countries that took advantage of us for many, many years. You know, they were taken advantage of. We were like the stupid people that didn't know what they were doing. But we're keeping the rates high, and it's hurting people from buying houses. You know, each point that this gentleman keeps up costs us $365 billion a year. Think of that. 1 point, $365 billion. If you bring it down a point, we save 365. We should be the lowest interest rate, and we're not. We're 38, number 38, because of the Fed. It's all because of the Fed. He's done a bad job. Now, he's got a meeting today, but I call him too late.
Okay, that was President Trump launching this new attack on Federal Reserve Chair Powell. Again, not cutting interest rates, keeping rates at 20-year highs. At least 15 central banks around the world are cutting their interest rates. Let's welcome back to the show from Kansas. He's from Senate Budget. He's Kansas Senator Roger Marshall. Senator, it's great to see you. So, Senator, the Fed is now accused of this ridiculous overreach into the U.S. economy, acting like central planners, not cutting rates. Yes, we know PCE came in at 2.6%, but the rates actually were higher last year when the Fed cut rate. The inflation was higher last year when the Fed cut rates. What was your reaction to the Fed's decision?
Well, I wasn't surprised, because there's a reason that President Trump calls him Jerome Too Late Powell. Let's go back to March of 2021, and Jerome Powell says inflation is going to be transitory. It's 18 months later, and it's just starting to peak, and it's not a couple months after that before it starts coming down. So he is indeed always too late. And just let me put an explanation point behind what President Trump is saying. To that average Kansas farmer back home, they have an operation loan of $1 million. We saw interest rates on those loans go from 2% to 9%, and that's what caused a record drop in net farm income. So he's right. Every point matters. And I'm not saying we should drop it 2 or 3 points, but dropping it a quarter point or a half point, come on. I think that the economy would dictate that now. We don't know what's holding up Jay Powell, except he's always too late.
Yeah, you know, even Fed Chair Powell admitted that waiting too long to cut interest rates could harm the labor market. So we got two Fed Reserve governors, Michelle Bowman, Christopher Waller, disagreed, saying the Fed should cut rates now. The first time in 3 decades, two governors dissented together. Both said cut rates now. They viewed inflation from tariffs as a temporary spike, not a persistent inflation trend from tariffs. Your word on this?
Well, I'm going to trust Michelle Bowman. Of course, she's from Council Grove, Kansas. But let's just think about this for a second. Of all the goods that Americans consume, only about 11% of them are imported. Only 11%. So let's just suppose there's a 10% tariff on 11% of what we consume. Well, my little math says that's going to be a 1.1% increase, assuming that's all passed along to the consumer, and you know it's not going to. So I think that these tariffs could cause a one-time hit of 1 or 2%, but I think the manufacturers are going to absorb a lot of that. The wholesalers are going to absorb a lot of that as well. And meanwhile, we're trying to balance this $1 trillion trade deficit. So I think President Trump is right on task. Look at what he's doing. Cambodia and Thailand today. He's surrounded China. He's got Indonesia done, Japan, Australia, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea. So he's going to push China. They got till August the 12th is their deadline, I believe. So President Trump is doing a great job.
Really interesting.
Guys, really making it happen, guys. Again, Trump's doing a great job. His cabinet's doing a great job. Congress is sucking right now, and it's hard that you literally, Trump is threatening them to, hey, stay here, Senate, and get the job done. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. I want to say, if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to serve you every day with the top news. So much is going on. We love and appreciate every single one of y'all. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. Thank you to everybody that has supported us through a super chat donation. Remember, this goes to a local charity on the 22nd of every single month. This guy right here is donating to a local charity, guys, and we literally have given over $42,000 in the past 10 months with your support. And that's what I want this channel to be known for, is more than just bringing the news. It's bringing the truth and giving. I want to give some special love to Robert Cash, Barbara Johnson, Jogo. Guys, show Jogo some love in the chat for giving 5 TrueLife News memberships. Lay Lewis, thank you so much, Lay. Jogo for the super chat. George Massalis, Andy, Lily Ignacio, Mama Sage, The Real KRO. Show The Real KRO some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much for your support. We love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for liking our videos, sharing our videos. We're here to serve you. And we just want to make sure we bust our butt to give you the best show every single day. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.